I want to talk to you about client converting questions to ask during a discovery session. Okay. So here is the methodology I want you to pay attention to. Basically, do you currently use discovery sessions, sometimes called discovery calls or discovery meetings, to meet new clients and understand whether or not you'll be a good fit to work together, right? Because the whole thing is when we speak about a coaching relationship, it has to be a win-win situation. You have to be a good fit for the client, and the client has to be a good fit for you, because otherwise you'll be wasting their time and they'll be wasting yours. Okay. And discovery sessions, based on our investigations, are one of the most powerful tools coaches can use to qualify and convert clients for their coaching services. And it doesn't matter if you are a business coach, you are a life coach, you are a fitness coach, you are whatever it is. Okay. And but the thing is that discovery sessions can be intimidating for even the most experienced coaches. And what are you supposed to ask? You might ask, how do you break the ice with a potential client? Who should you be taking the lead? Who should be taking the lead in these calls? Let's just break it down for you. And I want to first go back to Coaching Discovery Session 101. What is it? What is a coaching discovery session? Well, a coaching discovery session is really the initial call that you will have with a potential client, with a potential coaching client who's really interested in your services, right? This is someone who has expressed interest already. This is usually the first call you will have with any potential client after they have shown some interest in your coaching services. And what happens here is that what we love about coaching discovery sessions, we love that there is an extra layer of clarity. In most cases, discovery sessions don't cost anything for the potential client. It is actually an opportunity for them to get to know you, understand how your coaching program works, and see whether or not you are a good fit to help them achieve the outcome they are looking for, right? It's all about adding value first. So you want to add value first before you start charging. You start talking about monetary stuff. On the other hand, a coaching discovery session is not a free coaching session. It is not free time for potential clients to pick your brain, that's for sure. And also, it's not the first step of a coaching program. So it is actually up to you to run your discovery meeting to make sure that you are in control. Some potential clients may see the discovery session as a free coaching session or a moment to pick your brain. But as long as you guide the meeting yourself, you'll be able to keep the call on track. And that's what you want to have anyway. I want to talk to you about the tactics here. Let's have a quick conversation about why it is important to have a discovery session in the first place. I mean, I don't care how good you think you are, how charismatic you think you are as a coach. A discovery session will help you a lot. Let me just break it down for you. So, a discovery session is actually an important first step in any client relationship, but even more so when it comes to coaching services. Coaching, especially life coaching or fitness coaching, among others, is a highly personal service. You can't just order a coaching session by clicking on a website button and automatically get a good fit with a coach. No, you can't do that. It's all about the vibes. It's all about chemistry. It's all about the hormones. It's how you feel with vis-a-vis a coach or vis-a-vis a client. Of course, this can happen that you have a match made in heaven right away, but it will be a stroke of luck only. Here is why. Every client has his or her own unique life story, personality, and needs, right? You can say the same for every coach. You don't have to actually, you don't have the same life experiences and points of view as another coach, which means what? It means that you are able to provide both a different perspective and experience from your coaching. And that's what you want to have in the first place. You want to offer something unique. Why should they come to you and not the other person, not John Doe or Jane Doe? And during a discovery session, you will have the time to dig into your client's story and understand where they have been, where they are now, and where they want to go. The magical trifecta, as we call it, the past, the present, and the future. You will also gain actually an understanding of what's currently stopping them from achieving their goals. This will help you understand whether or not you can help them, and if so, what you can do to help them make lasting positive changes in their life. And that's what you should really think about in the first place. Adding value. So some clients will need you as a coach and others will need a different coach. And that's just life. Having a discovery call is especially important when you have signature packages, because signature packages help your clients achieve a predetermined outcome using your own signature process. And so because of that, not every client will be a good fit for that program. And that's okay. That's okay. And even if you actually write the most amazingly crazy sales copy for your signature program, there is nothing like having a real conversation with a client and asking questions back and forth. That's something your website copy can't do in the first place. And so even when a client is convinced they are sold on your coaching program and want to go ahead, you should still include a discovery session in your process. This initial call will make sure that both of you are on the same page and have a good level of chemistry. So without an effective discovery session, a client who is convinced that they want your program may turn out to be a bad fit. And when this happens, they'll either become dissatisfied and leave on their own, or you will feel the need to fire them so you can focus on clients whom you can actually help. Let me talk to you about structure here. So how do you structure a discovery call? Let's talk about that. So I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about what you can do before the discovery session, during the discovery session, and after the discovery meeting. Okay, if you have never run a discovery call before, you don't need to be too intimidated by the whole process. Those calls can look different and feel different from coach to coach, but they tend to have similar structures from one coach to another. So you have a certain level of similarity, a certain level of uniformity here. Of course, there are exceptions, that's for sure. Nothing is perfect, nothing is unique. Some coaches may have their own signature discovery session process that is really idiosyncratic to them. That's for sure. I mean, and I really understand that. But if you have found your own meeting structure that works for you and your potential clients, there is no need to make a change in the first place. But if you are just, let's say, or you just dipping your toes in the world of coaching and you want to establish your first discovery meeting process, you can keep things a lot simpler. So what you want to do is you want to do your research. So before the discovery session, do your research. You want to engage in due diligence and thorough due diligence. And again, it's all about you actually really inputting a lot of work beforehand. Once a prospective client books a discovery call with you, make sure you do some research beforehand. And in order to book the discovery session, you should make it a requirement to fill in actually an intake form, because an intake form is actually your bonanza. It's actually your intel documents. Okay, so what happens here is that you will have some basic information about this person, and you want to study the intake form and do any additional research if needed, so that you walk into the discovery session as knowledgeable as you need to be. And you can actually check their social media if they have if they have public profiles, for instance, and make sure you have your discovery session questions at the ready before the call begins, and keep reading to see some examples of questions that you can ask, especially during the initial phase, and also especially when the prospect has actually shown increased interest in your coaching services. Let's talk about during the discovery session. How do you actually do things a lot differently? I mean, you want to guide your potential client during the discovery session. In other words, you want to make sure that you are always in control of the discovery session, so that something were to happen, you know that you are in control, especially when it comes to when it comes to converting the call, when it comes to converting the prospect into a client. So it's really up to you to guide your prospective clients through the process of the discovery session, and that's important. By actually taking the initiative to lead the call, you will show your potential clients that you are confident, reliable, and you know what you're doing. And those are the three traits that the three important traits that clients want to see in a coach, right? That you are confident, reliable, and most importantly, knowledgeable. You know what you're doing, and you can start by establishing rapport with the other person. So, because when we talk about coaching, we are speaking about a human relationship. So you want to actually click with the other person. You want to greet them politely, ask them where they are from, and mention something from their intake form that you connected with in order to break the ice. It's all about establishing that first impression, right? Next, take a minute to establish the purpose of the call. Let them know that you want to get to know them a little bit and understand what they are going through, to understand what they need and whether or not you'll be a good fit to work together. You should also let them know that you'll be asking some questions, but that you will leave them some space for their own questions as well. You want to give them some time to acknowledge what you said and ask any questions before you continue. This is very important. And once this is done, you can ask the questions you want to ask. And by the way, you want to be as granular as possible. For every question, take the time to follow up, to dig deeper into your potential client's head. Don't take anything at face value. Try to understand why something is happening and why they are running stuck where they are. Okay, why are they currently stuck? And so during this time, you should either be taking notes or recording the call with the permission of the potential client, of course. This information will come in handy when you are following up later. Okay. Finally, you want to give some space for the client to ask their questions. Remember that this is not a free consultation or a coaching session, so questions should relate to you and your coaching process, not to actually coach the client. If your potential client veers off track, gently but firmly guide them back on track. Let your potential client know you will follow up and tell them what next steps they can take if they are ready to move forward. Now, after the discovery meeting, you want to really also strategize, and the strategy here revolves around following up intently. So once your meeting is over, your potential client may need some time to think about whether or not they want to move forward with you and your coaching services. Okay, but it's also important for you to also strategize as to whether or not you want to do you want to do the same, right? Don't leave the call and forget about them just yet. It's up to you to follow up immediately after the call via email to sum up everything they need to know. And in your email, and this is an important consideration to have here based on our investigations for the last 10-15 years when it comes to coaching. So in your email, you want to mention the following. You want to have a quick summary of what was discussed in the call. Like you want to recap the conversation. And you want to make sure that you and the clients are on the same page. You got to be on the same page. And you want to have a recap of what the potential client needs from a coaching program, right? So you are sure of what they want. You want to have a breakdown of how you can help them in the first place, because otherwise, why would they need you, and why would you need them? And also, you want to talk about in the email, of course, you want to talk about the next steps they can take if they want to move forward with you. Maybe it's a link to a contract and payment for your signature program, and there has to be a deposit. If they move to a contract, they have to be a deposit. Otherwise, you don't want to move. I always insist on this. A coaching business is a business. You're not a philanthropy. So at some point you have to monetize. And when it comes to revenue generation, you have to be really strict and make sure that you put some intent into this email. Just don't fire off an email that thanks them for their time and provides a link to a contract. No. Put some energy into the email to show that you listen to them intently during the call and that you are ready to help them. You are ready to help them how? You're ready to actually solve their pain points. You're ready to add value to their life. You're ready to actually kick them off onto their transformative journey. This is how the client is going to move in your direction. It's not just by thanking them politely, quote unquote, for their time and whatever. No. You have to be more specific than that. So be very, very careful and be very, very intent. You want to show some intent. Let me give you a few examples here. So I want to really talk about some examples of discovery session questions. If you're not really sure of what to ask during your discovery session, I want to share with you some examples of relevant questions. Keep in mind that the wording and the specifics of the questions will vary depending on your coaching niche, right? Every niche is different. So you can say something like, tell me a bit about your current situation, how your current situation looks like. How does that make you feel, right? Again, you're trying to really get a sense of where the client has been, where they are, and where they are going. And you can also ask, how long has this been going on? Again, you are tapping into the past here, talking about chronology. What does success look like to you? This is kind of cool because you are trying to visualize with the clients what important elements that you need to really keep in mind as you are trying to help them out. That would be really helpful down the road. And you can also see what is currently working well for you and what is not working. So we are speaking here about A/B testing, seeing what works, what doesn't work, and how to tweak what is not working. And you can also ask them, what have you tried before today, and how did it go in the first place? What do you think is holding you back from achieving the whatever outcome that you have in mind? You can also ask, why do you think this is the case? And you can also ask them, finally, if you could overcome the challenges you mentioned and achieve the outcome that, quote unquote outcome, what would you do this? What would that do for you, right? It's all about helping the client visualize the expected results and what the expected result could mean for them, not only in their life, but also in their entourage. This is really important to really think about. So the bottom line here is that when we talk about client converting questions during a discovery call, the whole idea here is to qualify and convert your dream clients using a discovery call. In other words, when you actually have the proper discovery call, you'll finally realize whether or not a prospect, whether or not a lead can be turned into the ideal client, can be turned into a paying client, right? By using a coaching discovery call in your next client booking process, you'll be able to qualify potential clients and help them make the best decision for their specific goals. And by that, you can also find an avenue for revenue for your coaching business. Because again, we always insist on the fact that if you have a coaching business, you have to be agile. You have to be really agile. It doesn't matter the geography you're in. It doesn't matter the chronology you're in. It doesn't matter the demographics you are going after. You have to be agile. And agile means what? Agile means you are solving the pain points of your clients all the time. You got to think about this all the time. And you have to solve the pain points. And you have to also think about how that pain points can translate into more business. Remember, it's not just about actually thinking of the clients or the lead as a source of monetary value. It's about adding value. It's how can you elevate that person's life. And by elevating the person's life, you are also elevating your coaching business balance sheet. That's really important. So to sort of go back to today's conversation, discovery sessions will also give you an opportunity to answer any questions that the potential clients may have, and address objections about moving forward, right? And even better, if you can find software that can automate the booking process to start getting discovery calls without having to worry about reminders, confirmation emails, and scheduling conflicts, you can actually get started with the proper software. And so you can actually get started with your first clients actually real fast and in a streamlined manner. And so if you even have an opportunity to actually have a 30-day free trial or a 45-day free trial or even a 28-day free trial, they'll be really good. So here's a quote I hear. In today's conversation, I spoke to you about client converting questions that you can actually ask during a discovery session. And I actually give you the methodology, the tactics, the structure, the examples, and now I'm giving you the quota. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.